2, 1, recording now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pound Lounge podcast. So happy to have you here.
You changed the intro, damn it. I'm your co-host, Bad Luck, and he's the one that keeps changing the intro.
Yeah, I'm Dan. All right, before we start anything off, we just need to do a little bit of this.
Oh no, what?
I just tried to do a little ASMR. All right.
Yeah,
What's everyone
didn't work.
drinking? What's everyone drinking? What's everyone smoking?
I am drinking water currently, actually.
Well, this is a seltzer water that I just opened up. It's a LaCroix Limoncello.
That is
Seltzer
literally the gayest thing I've ever heard you say.
Okay.
Seltzer Walters for Queens. Let's just put it that
Seltzer
way.
water. First of all, seltzer water's awesome. I love seltzer water. I can see how it could be perceived as gay because straight people are afraid of anything new. And
There's no point in seltzer water. It's not better than regular water, and
it's flavored, so that's the point. If you want something that is water but has a flavor to it, seltzer water. And
it doesn't have a flavor. It has like
Yes,
has
it
like-
does have a flavor. Very much
No,
so.
it does not. It has the ghost of a kiss of a lime someone rubbed on their balls as a flavor.
Okay, well, I don't know what kind of seltzer water That sounds like some fucking no-name
I've
brand
had LaCroix.
podunk incestual seltzer water, but LaCroix has flavor to it. Now, you might not know that because it might be a little bit out of your budget, but it has flavor, all right?
I've had LaCroix. It's awful.
Okay.
I just drink a soda at that point.
You eat Taco Bell, so I'm just going to...
Not by choice. My family loves Taco Bell, though.
Okay.
The only good thing there is quesarito.
They force feed you Taco Bell. Gotcha.
Well, I'm not going to go hungry, but yeah, the only good thing there is a quesarito, and that's it.
You could go hungry.
Bitch, what's that supposed to mean?
Anyways, so I really like this flavor of LaCroix. I was never the biggest fan of LaCroix, but since moving to Florida, I can't find I used to buy if there's any seltzer water fans listening to this, I used to buy the Polar. Polar has a line of limeade or lemonade flavors, and they have like 10 flavors, and they're really good. They come in packs of 8, I believe. And I cannot find those down here. I haven't been able to find them. Granted, I've only really looked at like Walmart and Publix, but so my only choice is really to buy LaCroix or, the like Pepsi or Coke versions, and just, like Coke. Coke has the seltzer water brand called Aha, and Pepsi has the seltzer water brand called Bubbly.
Why are you so knowledgeable on the subject?
I've actually looked into seltzer water quite a bit because, so it will tell you ingredients only carbonate. So I'm reading what it says for ingredients on this LaCroix. It says only carbonated water, naturally essenced. So I wanted to know, when I first started getting into seltzer water, I wanted to know what the naturally essenced means. Because it says it on the back of, it says that for LaCroix too. It says it for all of them. Bubbly, naturally, natural essence of whatever flavor it is. Orange, lemons, whatever. So I've looked it up, and it is a little shady. It is a little sketchy because the natural essence can mean a lot of different things.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the way I understood, like if it's actually done like natural essence, is they basically shove whatever flavor they're trying to make, or like the ingredients to make that flavor, and like basically boil it through.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and it comes through like a pipe and a steam, and the steam droplets like drip down, and then they use that as flavoring.
I would say that's best case scenario for what
Yeah.
naturally essence means. But that's
Yeah.
kind of what I got from it. But I think that there's other ways to do it as well. But but there's no artificial flavoring. There's no like this isn't diet soda where there's aspartame and phenylamine and whatnot. So that's why I like it, because it is water. So, and
Although,
it's got flavor to it. I drink regular water too.
although you, just for our audience members and stuff, never like obviously do your research into your own products, because anything that's like advertised as natural, the FDA has not defined what that means. That's why you can see like gummy worms and like deep fried potato chips as natural. I'm doing air quotes, by the way. So do your own individual research. Don't trust a product label, because it's not even been defined by the FDA or any like food organization.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it a whole lot. I mean, so I guess this kind of goes along with, we were talking about diet a little bit on the first podcast. And I honestly, I feel like the best thing to do is just go with whole foods. Like,
Yes.
it's the safest thing to do, because you're literally not eating anything. You're only eating carrots or chicken, or like you're not eating anything that has been tampered with. I mean, yes, okay, chickens can have, antibiotics or hormones, and vegetables can have GMOs and whatnot. So there is that.
Yes, but for the most part, you're getting calorie dense food when you're eating whole foods, which for a diet, you want as much nutrient dense, sorry, not calorie dense, nutrient dense food as you can find.
True.
Because
And it's a lot less likely to have, added preservatives or chemicals, whatever it is.
exactly,
Shit
because
that might mess up your body.
exactly, because from my research into it, like pretty much every diet ever, like if it's not a calorie deficit, which I know that sounds hard for a lot of people, but if you're think about it, like when we're going over our calories, fellow fat people, we're going over our calories because soda or chips, stuff that tastes really good, but has that shit ever filled anyone up? No. So if you eat like meats, yes, meats might not necessarily be the cheapest thing, but you can eat a lot less of it for a lot less calories as well.
For sure. And also, meat's not even all that expensive. I mean, like, junk food's getting expensive. A bag of Doritos I saw yesterday at a gas station was like $5.50 for like a large size, but not like the huge family size. $5.50 for a bag of Doritos.
Yeah, that's the thing. I honestly think this has basically been a scam, or not a scam, but like people perpetuate this lie about like how junk food's always cheaper, and it's like, yeah, maybe by meal basis, but if you get a large steak, yeah, it's going to be a bit more money up front, but you're getting 2 to 3 meals out of it. So is it really that more expensive at any point?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's crazy. McDonald's fast food is going up in price, obviously inflation and whatnot, but it's not cheap like it used to be, because our wages aren't going up as much as everything else is. So it's really not as cheap as it used to be.
Yeah, even just DoorDash. DoorDash demands you have a $12 minimum for free delivery, and obviously you want the free delivery because the delivery is $11 anyways. And think about like $12 per meal. I can definitely get a steak for $15, a big one, for $15, and make it last 2 meals.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I did DoorDash the other day, and it was expensive because it's already more expensive to order food over DoorDash than it is if you were to just order it and go pick it up yourself, because they add an extra fee, or they just inflate the price, I believe, because it's on DoorDash. And then you got to
Yes.
pay a delivery fee. So I paid a $3 delivery fee, and then you got to tip the driver as well. So it's very expensive and not something I should be making a habit out of doing.
No, no. Because tips, like, they add up. Like, I always tip. But, like, there was this one week where I was at my sister's, so I had to get DoorDash. And I had to tip, like, 2 to 3 times a day. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get, like, a $300 order because I'm there for 2 weeks. And I'm just going to get groceries. But, like those tips alone, they fucking murder you.
She couldn't have just taken you to go get some damn groceries.
I know, right? Like, she pays me, like, $100 for, like, 3 days, which, I mean, isn't that much for dog sitting, or, like, that is a decent amount for dog sitting, but when you're not paying for any of my food or anything,
True.
it is actually crap.
True. I mean, it's your sister, so you want to cut her a break and whatnot, but, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't be going dog sitting someone's place for $100 for 3 days just because. I mean, I would if I were you, but me,
Bitch!
but me, probably not. I got better things to do.
But, like, also, like, she tries to be nice about it, because she's like, oh, you can help yourself to the fridge, but, all she has in the fridge is, like, hummus and, like, crackers. And then
Sounds
she
like
has,
my sister. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because her partner's Jewish, so they have, like, a lot of, like, very small snack food, like Jewish snack food, and, like, that stuff does not fill you up. Also, it's not that healthy for you either. It's a lot of olive oil, a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah, like hummus. Hummus is, like, the most healthiest thing they have. Or, like, he has a really big sweet tooth, so he'll, like, freeze golden Oreos. It's like, I'm not sustaining myself on 2 weeks of fridge frozen Oreos, which, who does that, by the way? But also...
Frozen Oreos?
Yeah, he puts his Oreos in the fridge. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, maybe they last longer if they're in a refrigerator.
No, he says they taste better, that's why he does it.
Also, Oreos probably last such a long time anyways, because think about the preservatives and that shit, you know?
Exactly. Like, Oreos, unless you literally leave them open to go stale, will last as long as you need them to. So he just says it tastes better, but, like, and, it's weird, because, like, okay, the only thing the fridge would do is make it less sweeter, because the colder stuff is, the less sweet you can taste, but he gets white chocolate / white Oreos, like the golden cake Oreos. Those are the sweeter brands. Why would you get the sweeter thing if you don't like the sweetness?
True.
Yeah, I don't get it. His logic.
All right, I need to pause it real quick so I can go take a dump. I'll be right back.
Okay, please cut that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
We took a slight break there. I don't know if you'll even notice, but we are back.
Yeah. So, okay, you know what? Let's talk about food for a little bit more. What's your favorite? You like ice cream, right?
Actually, I don't that
Cut it
much.
out. Cut it out.
I don't. I actually don't have that big a sweet tooth. I have a really bad. Well, I guess you could count Pop as a sweet tooth, but that's why I struggle to, like, lose weight. I love soda.
Dude, drink diet soda. Just drink diet soda.
No, I don't love diet soda. I love soda, you fucking Nazi.
Just drink diet soda, dumbass. What the? This
Actually,
literally will
I'm-
cure your issue of being overweight.
I'm actually going to cut soda entirely. But right now they have this Mountain Dew flavor. It's a mystery flavor. And do you know what crybabies are?
No.
They're the super sour candy. Like, they're almost as sour as warheads. And the mystery flavor in Mountain Dew, I guarantee you, they haven't confirmed it, but I guarantee you, is blue raspberry crybabies.
Okay.
So super sour blue raspberry, which I love blue raspberry and everything.
You told me you don't even drink soda that much, though.
I didn't when I told you that, but like I won't drink it, and then like they'll buy a 4 pack, like 4 12 packs because where we
Jesus.
shop, it's two 12 packs, and then you get two free every time we go there. So then I'll drink those four 12 packs in like a couple, like maybe a week, maybe two, most likely a week.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, dude,
Hmm.
literally they make diet soda now that tastes just like the regular flavor. Like Coke
No, it
Zero.
does not.
Coke Zero tastes like regular Coke. That's
Well,
why
you're
they don't
just
call it
a
Diet
liar.
Coke. They call it
I
Coke
don't
Zero.
like Coke. I like Fanta. Um, what else do I like? Oh, Powerade, which isn't soda, but like it's still a sugary drink. Um,
Why are you the most annoying eater ever? You're like, I don't like Coke. I like Fanta and Powerade. Who the fuck likes Fanta and Powerade? Powerade?
okay, Fanta was Germany's favorite drink during World War II. Thank you very much. So
Yeah, because that was like their only thing.
it really was. Also, not to get like political, but we can. I actually don't think sanctions are a good thing because you're not fucking over like the leaders or maybe even the soldiers. You're just fucking over the civilians, which I don't agree with.
Great. Well,
Yeah.
anyways, I tried uh, Ben and Jerry's ice cream, and because I've never really had Ben and Jerry's ice cream before,
Hmm.
because they seem like a shitty company, and also I try to stay away from ice cream because it's like a trigger food for me, and
Yeah.
obviously it's just
Binge.
not healthy. But
Hmm.
Ben and Jerry's ice cream, not impressed by it. I've had two different flavors. Okay, Netflix and chilled, and some kind of like salted caramel. It's
Oh yeah.
honestly not that great. It's like $6 for a pint.
It's okay. There's two flavors that I remember liking, and everything else I thought was actually gross, like gross. The Chunky Monkey, which is like a banana flavor, which I liked because you can't really find banana flavors in ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, and then they had a cookie dough flavor. I forget what it's called, but like it's just like you know how a lot of cookie dough ice cream has like a snippet of cookie dough, and then it's just cream. Uh, no, Ben and Jerry's like 60% cookie dough, which I'm a fan of if I'm going to have cookie dough ice cream.
Well, I gotta say, I don't know if I've ever tried. What's it called?
Chunky Monkey?
No, Halo Top. Is that the brand? Halo Top?
Oh yeah.
Well, Halo Top
Hmm.
has for in a pint. Halo Top has 1/3 the calories that Ben and Jerry's does, and it's also I think a little bit cheaper too. So I
Yeah.
feel like Ben and Jerry's is just and Ben and Jerry's just has a bunch of bad ingredients in it. It's got soybean oil in it, and
Hmm.
I feel like for what you're paying for, you're just getting low quality ice cream that has a shit ton of calories and bad ingredients in it, and it's actually quite expensive. It was $6
Yeah.
for a pint.
But I also wouldn't necessarily recommend Halo. Okay, like as like tapering off junk food, absolutely, that's a good
Hmm.
alternative. But like if you struggle, and I'm just talking about like binge eaters or overweight people here,
Hmm.
from experience, if you struggle with your weight or like trigger foods like ice cream, Halo Top, yes, it has 1/3 of the calories, but your brain's going to immediately be like, oh, that means I can have twice as much,
True.
and it's going to be in the same problem, except for you're probably spending like more money. So eventually, yeah, work on that to have less and like
Hmm.
taper off. But eventually, you're gonna have to cut it off completely.
So I think Halo Top would be good for somebody that is craving ice cream but doesn't want to have
Hmm.
1,000 calories for a pint like you have with Ben and Jerry's. Because a pint's not
Yes.
that much.
No pints. Most people
I mean, it's
can
more
get
than
like
enough for one person, but
yeah, but most people can probably finish a pint in 2 sittings.
oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
can and have
Some,
finished them in one. So
yeah. Like, and I don't think that, like, I think most people, like, if they were really craving ice cream, could probably finish a pint in one sitting too.
oh yeah, for sure.
So, um, again, just speaking from experience, it's better to, like, that's why I didn't switch to diet soda either, because, like, I would drink just as much and it's still bad for your teeth. And that's one thing I'm really worried about with soda. It's terrible for your teeth. Not even just weight, but like your teeth get
Well,
fucked.
then make sure that you brush your teeth quite often.
Yeah, but okay, the thing with like sugary drinks or like anything with sugar, you should brush your teeth as soon as you finish it, which means you have to chug it and then brush your teeth
Gotcha.
after every soda. And like, one, I'm not going to brush my teeth 3 to 4 times a day every time I drink a soda. Um, and two, like, uh, um,
So diet
it's
soda
just not,
is still bad for your teeth?
yeah, diet soda is still bad for it because it's an artificial sweetener, and the things that like feed on your teeth and your enamel, do fine on artificial sweeteners.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Okay, here's a good segue into our next, I feel like the next topic, which is relationships. Um,
Yeah, we were just talking about our relationship with food. Let's talk about real relationships now.
yeah. Well, and a good segue is this. So something I've come to find out is that food, and when you're in a relationship with someone else, it can be an issue because you might get into a relationship with someone that is allergic to things or is a picky person when it comes to eating.
Mhm.
Like
Or on the other side of the spectrum, like they could be trying to lose weight or
true.
even trying to gain weight. Like there's a few people, and that could trigger the other partner one way or another.
Yeah, like if you're someone that used to be obese and
Hmm.
and it might not be great for you to get with someone that, I mean, opposites attract for sure, but it might not be a great idea for you to get with a skinny person that's trying to bulk up because
Yeah,
unless you can handle it. If you can handle it, then great. I mean, that's good.
or even like another fat person who's like because like I'm not saying you should hate your body, but as someone that's overweight, it does limit a lot of things. And like if your partner's not willing to accept that, like, hey, we need to work towards getting healthier step by step. But if they're
Mhm.
just like in that state where they're like, no, I'm just gonna love myself and I've given up on, that's not a good mindset to be around when you're trying to improve yourself.
Yeah, I don't think I could be in a relationship with someone like that, me personally.
Yeah, I agree. There's always ways to improve, even if it's a small amount. But just giving up on something as simple as food, I don't think you're going to be able to handle the hardships
Hmm.
relationships can throw at you
I mean,
either.
hey, I know it's hard just from living with other people when I'm trying to like eat healthy and whatnot, and they've got a bunch of
Hmm.
junk food in the house. I mean, I know it's hard. It's the same thing with people that have a spouse that smokes and you're trying to quit smoking. I mean, it
Exactly.
makes it so much harder for sure. So,
Dude, I gained like 5 pounds at my sister the week and a half I was staying there just last time because she stocks it with like snacks and junk food and all, and she's borderline underweight because she never eats any of it. She just has a bite and then leaves it out on the counter, and then she lets her husband, who's trying to lose weight, or her kid finish it off. And like I've come to her husband's come to her like, hey, maybe we shouldn't just buy this kind of stuff. I know you want to try it. I know it's like good for a snack, but it really triggers like you to want to eat more.
yeah, for sure. Don't be feeding your kids junk food. No.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Uh,
moderation is key.
Luckily, her kids are pretty good at not eating too much of it. Maybe because it's just around the house 24/7. They don't get like super excited about it anymore.
Mhm.
But uh, still, like for someone that's trying to lose weight, like her husband, or even me, that's like, man, that cookie that you left, like those 12 pack of cookies or cake randomly she just buys a whole thing of cake and has one slice.
Jesus. Is this the sister that said she's the best sister ever?
Yes, this is her.
Okay. I didn't want to name drop her, but
Yes.
yeah, no, but also it's like if you're someone that grew up with a certain type of food, like so for instance with me and my ex, we never lived together, but
Hmm.
I love seafood, and
Hmm.
he could not eat a lot of seafood. Like
Yeah.
I guess he had a shellfish allergy, so
Yeah.
he couldn't eat shrimp, he couldn't eat clams, lobster, stuff like that, and I love
Hmm.
all that food. So that kind of sucked.
Hmm.
So, but that's not for me at least. That's not a deal breaker. Like I'm not gonna avoid dating somebody just because they can't eat
Yeah.
a specific food that you love to eat, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
but I don't know if I could be with someone that's super picky though, like you.
Hmm.
You know, when it comes
I'm
to
not
food.
that picky. I just don't like beans. Okay, I don't like beans, and I don't like certain sodas. That's not that picky.
That's
Oh, I don't
it.
like water either.
That's it, really.
I don't like water.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're damaged. You've got you've got some serious issues.
That is not that. Everyone has a few things they don't like. I guarantee you don't like stuff. I bet you don't like yogurt or some shit.
I eat yogurt almost daily.
Okay, what don't you like?
There's
Name it.
there's not much where it's like I'm actively
Oh.
going to avoid it.
Okay, so if I presented you fish bladder or liver or fish eyeballs, you would gobble that right up?
The fish eyeballs, probably, yeah. Because I'm sure it doesn't taste like much. The liver, I wish I could eat liver, or I can eat it. I wish I actually enjoyed the flavor, because liver has, I don't know if you've ever eaten it, but it has such a strong flavor.
I've never tried it actually.
Oh my
I do want to
gosh.
try it occasionally.
Liver tastes like how dog food smells. Dried dog food, kibble. It
Ugh.
tastes like how that smells.
Why is it a rich person food then? What the fuck?
It's not. You can get it for cheap. You can get liver for cheap. Organ meat is actually quite cheap. Beef heart, it's not a rich person food. In fact, I remember my grandfather used to pan fry liver and onions growing up, and he was not rich.
Okay, maybe I'm just affected by 90s and 2000 shows, but like, oh, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
You might be thinking about liver pate. That's different.
Yeah.
You might be thinking about that. I would like to try liver pate. I don't know if it would taste the same as regular liver or not.
I also want to try caviar. I've never had it.
It's good. I like it. I mean, see, I'm a very, compared to most people, I'm not picky at all. I will try most foods. I'll try
Okay, but
actually
there's
anything.
definitely
else.
stuff you don't like. Okay, I will try anything once, except for maybe insects. But like, I will try anything once. It's just I'm not gonna like say I love something if I don't.
Yeah, I might not love it, but it's still something that I'll eat. Like if someone
I'll finish a
prepares-
plate of
if someone
anything. Like if you
prepares it-
presented, if I was at like a friend's house and I don't like their
Yeah.
food, I wouldn't like tell. Like I would be nice about it and be like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, it's okay." But like I wouldn't ask for it again after that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so we're almost at a half hour here, so let's get into like the actual relationship stuff. Okay, so.
Yes.
Okay, so you and I have both been in long distance relationships.
Yes.
That's something that we have in common. You've been in a long distance relationship for 3 years now?
3 years. By November 10th, it'll be 4.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Wait, how long have you and I known each other?
I think we've known each other since before I met Kepo, actually.
No. I
Yeah.
don't think it's been 4 years, has it?
It's been over 4 years, I'm pretty sure.
What? You know
'Cause I
what? It
remember,
actually probably was like, yeah, it probably was, 2016 or 2017.
yeah, exactly.
I think it probably actually was 2017, and that's 5 years now. We
hmm
might have known each other for 5 years.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of crazy?
That is very crazy.
hmm
Well, I have many people that I've met online that I've known for a long time. It's just I think because you and I we didn't really begin to talk like the way that we talk now until really just like a year ago. When my
Yeah.
because my grand I met you before my ex met you, but
hmm
you and him would would talk a whole lot. So you and I didn't really
Yeah.
begin to talk the way that we do now until like a year ago, basically, maybe a year and a half.
Yeah. I mean, we still talked occasionally. We just didn't DM, but like we would interact. But yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't become like. I guess the way I would put it is like we were mutuals slash friends, but then or like mutuals and acquaintances, and then in the last year we became like good friends. I
All
would say.
right. All right. So let's talk about long distance relationships and whatnot. Um, I'm pretty fresh out of a relationship. I think it ended like a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Maybe a month and a half, maybe
Two.
7 weeks ago. But that was like a year and a half long, and that was my first, kind of real serious relationship. And you've been in a relationship for almost 4 years now, and your relationship has been entirely just long distance
Yep.
online relationship.
Yep. Entirely.
So, and mine was like that for the first. Well, technically, we didn't start dating until we met each other for the first time in person. That's when we officially started dating. So,
Mhm.
but but it was still very long distance. We lived 1,700 miles apart and only saw each other like once every few months, sometimes longer than that. Over the whole course of our relationship, I think we only saw each other in person like 6 times. Some
hmm
a couple a few times they were for like a week at a time and whatnot, but it was very much so a long distance relationship, mostly online relationship. So, um,
Yes. Yes.
me personally, I would not recommend a long distance relationship
I
to
uh,
most people. To most people,
I agree with that. I think they're very. It depends on your personality type and your partner's personality type, but they require a lot of trust, a lot of
yeah.
work. Cause like I mean, you should be talking at least every day for a little bit because otherwise you're just kind of friends because you have to work harder to maintain that special relationship. Now, for
At
me,
least for you and I.
yeah,
Because there's probably some people that could go maybe longer distances of time without talking to each other, and they might still feel like they're in an intimate relationship.
I've known people that like haven't like even talked to their partner for like a week at a time,
Mm-hmm.
like not even like a good morning text or anything, and then
Mm-hmm.
like, oh yeah, we're still dating. And it's like that's crazy to me. I could never do that.
I
That's
don't
crazy to
think I
me.
could either. I don't think I could either. But there's some people that can.
Yeah, yeah.
Just not many.
hmm
You really got to think about that. Like, are you somebody that can be okay with not seeing your partner for a long period of time or hearing from them in a long period of time? Because if you're in if you're in a long distance relationship, that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't talk to them multiple times a day. I mean, you
Yeah.
could be texting all throughout the day, which also could
hmm
have its own issues too. But
Yes.
overexposure
Um,
can be an issue.
what I would say is the biggest hurdle for most people is physical contact seems to be a pretty important part of a lot of people's relationship. Now, there are ways to be intimate with your partner long distance, but they're not the same. But, like, for some people, that can be enough until you work towards your goal of living together. but a lot of people, especially in today's environment, value sex or like physical intimacy a lot. And I don't think a long distance relationship would ever work out with those people. Uh,
For
and I
sure.
also think like you can't have too many like if you're going to accuse your partner of cheating like out of the blue, because there's a lot of straight relationships where I've seen that like oh, he didn't talk to me for like 3 days so he must be cheating, or vice versa, she
Yeah, it's
didn't talk to
almost
me.
like it's just like the first thing that they jump to.
Exactly. You should not. One, you shouldn't probably be in a relationship anyways, but you should not be in a long distance relationship for sure. You need to work. That's just not going to work for you. It's not.
For me personally, I think the biggest thing that I would require in really any relationship, but especially a relationship that is, long distance, is trust.
Exactly.
Because because and it's one of those, okay, so I don't know about you, but growing up, you always hear these things where adults or whoever's trying to warn you about something, whether it be
Mm-hmm.
school or relationships or just whatever. They'll give you advice, and a lot of times you just brush it off because you're young and you're a kid and you're like, oh, well, that was their issue, I'm probably going to have
Mm-hmm.
my own. Well, people have similar issues all the time. So
Yeah. You're
I
not that special of a snowflake. You'll probably run into similar issues.
yeah, and I mean, people say trust. People say they require trust for a reason, because
Mm-hmm.
people cheat on you, and
Yes.
and people have issues. So you want to, like,
Exactly.
you really want to make sure, if you're someone that is just not going to be okay with someone lying to you or someone cheating on you or something like that, then you really want to know the person that you're getting in a relationship with, because people will lie to you. And
Also, uh, this is important. Set boundaries, and once you set those boundaries, even though it may seem harsh at times, and I struggle with this myself, not with my partner, but with like other relationships, is like feeling bad about enforcing those boundaries. So, like, if they did something, even if it's not cheating, which I mean, uh, obviously, I think after that, I don't think you should stay with the person, even if you think you could work out your problems. I don't, especially if you're still going to have to be long distance for a little bit.
mhm.
I don't think it's possible to like have that trust back. But like when someone breaks a boundary, in any way, whatever that boundary is to you, I do think like obviously talk it out and like have a reasonable boundaries, but also if it's causing you stress and you're noticing like, hey, we're kind of going through this cycle of up down up down up down, that's not healthy for you. And and if it's not healthy for you, it's going to show in your relationship, and that relationship's going to stop being healthy.
Yeah, Bad Luck knows this because he basically coached me about this from my past relationship. He's basically just saying stuff like, listen, I would say, honestly, do not ignore red flags, and trust
Mm-hmm.
trust your gut. Trust your gut,
Mm-hmm.
because when you love somebody, and you're in a relation, you are committed to them, and you're in a relationship with them, you are going to be, you at least I, and I think most people, are more willing to ignore red flags and to
Yes.
to let things slide, because what you were just saying is, you need to set boundaries and stick to them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at a beginning of a relationship, you might be like, "Oh yeah, I'm not gonna let people walk all over me. I'm gonna,
It's easy to let it happen. It is
it
because you
is. It's
you love that person.
it's easy to let someone manipulate you when you are in love with them, because you don't, because for
You
you
don't
think
want
they're
to
your
think ill
future.
of them.
Yeah, that's all you've been thinking about for a long time. You know, that you think they're your future. You think that, you know, it's something that you could possibly work through, but you need to be honest with yourself when you're in a serious relationship, you know, especially one that's a long distance. I mean, and so you and your boyfriend have never met in person, and you have a unique relationship. But
Yeah,
so
I
like,
don't think most people could have a 4 year long distance relationship, and
yeah.
it's fine. It's perfect for us. We've never even fought before, but that is a unique case, and that's not something I'd really recommend aiming for everyone.
And it's very unique because it works out for both of you. With both of
Oh, you cut
your
out for a second. You
oh,
cut out for a second.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I said it's very very unique, but it works out for both of you because of both of your situations where you are in life right now. It
Hmm.
it works for both of you, you know, and
Yes.
there's no contention there
Yeah, we
about
have
like you're
similar end goals in a relationship,
hmm
and a similar thought process about what a partner is. And I want to circle back around to this because, like, I do think you should stick to your boundaries and stuff, and I do think you should recognize patterns. Um, but also, before any of that stuff even happens, you know, even if it's like something small that just kind of gets underneath your skin and you think, oh, I'm just going to ignore it because it's not that big a deal, talk about those things. You, and if you notice your partner is struggling to talk about those things as well, I'm not saying they're like bad or anything, but you need to like you need to tell them they need to work on that because even small things, even in a normal physical relationship, people have a tendency to let stuff build up until they explode.
mm,
But that is so much more likely in a long distance relationship,
oh yeah,
and it's so much more damaging
because
too.
they don't have to, they're not being
Yeah,
confronted with you every day by it, you know. They might
exactly.
not have to take care of it. And also, it might seem like a small issue. Like, okay, maybe you caught this person in a lie once and it was a small lie.
Hmm.
But it actually could be a big issue. It could be that, hey,
Hmm.
they're a pathological liar. They're a chronic liar. You know,
Hmm.
like that might just be the tip of the iceberg. Now, I mean, I don't think that everyone should just be super paranoid if they're in a long distance relationship, but
Hmm.
you should trust your gut.
Yes, yes.
Even if you're in like a 2 year long relationship and you think that this is the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, I truly
Hmm.
think that you should still know your boundaries and not just not
Yes.
not waver from them, you know.
Yes, and this is also like, you know, this is something that happened to you, and it hurts a lot. And um, you know, like I would say both because I talked to his partner a lot too. I never would have thought like these issues were happening. Like neither one of us saw this coming at any point. Otherwise, I would have, you know, not tried to help the relationship. I would have just said breaking up. So I kind of feel bad about that. But
Uh-huh.
uh, there are signs looking back, and like again, this is why you need to talk about these issues. Like he would. I'm trying to think of like how to word this without being too personal, but like
Yeah, let's not like I don't want to drag my ex into it because
no,
I don't want to
I'm
create
avoiding
drama.
any names or anything. I'm just saying
Yeah.
uh like for one thing, it was very important for you to be together as soon as possible, which is understandable. But he was talking about like basically getting a job to put himself in a better position with his job, and future career, which is also understandable. But when those goals are colliding, and you notice like hesitation or friction that can't be resolved with those goals, I do think that is something important to pay attention to
A red flag.
because, yeah,
A red
because,
flag, you'd say.
huh?
Would you call that a red flag?
I don't know if I would call it a red flag in the because like I attribute red flag as like the partner's bad, but it could be a red flag in the sense like, hey, your life goals may line up, but like currently they're not. So at the very least, you need to have a serious discussion and talk about it and work through it to a point where you're both happy. And you have to make sure both parties are happy. And if that's not possible, then I do think it's better to end the relationship on a positive note than try to prolong this thing where we know one of the partners would be unhappy with the situation.
Oh, for sure. It is better to end things early than to, I would think, maybe. But I would think it would be better to end things early if you know for certain, like, this just goes past my boundaries and I don't see it working well. I think it's better to end things there than
Yes.
to drag it out and then have more of a history with this person and more emotions and to have it
Yes.
end later.
And that's something me and Kepa discussed at the very beginning because there was never any chance of our relationship like being not a long distance for a good period of time, just because of financial reasons, a bunch of other reasons,
And for
immigration.
how far away? I mean,
Yeah.
you're in very far away countries.
Yes, exactly. So we talked about this. Like, look, if like we say we can handle no physical intimacy forever because you're so special to me. But if one of us is starting to be like, man, I feel lonely. I wish I could, have a relationship like that. It's better to talk about that and this didn't come up for us, but I could see it coming up for other people, and talk about that. And maybe it's better to end the relationship. I don't think you should do an open relationship. I think that would be terrible. Don't do that. But
For
it is
most
better
people,
to
it probably would not work out well.
yeah, I don't recommend an open relationship in any way. It's already so time consuming for one partner. There's no way it's going to be an equal relationship with 3 people or 4 people.
Well, it wouldn't be as. It would just be a different relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be as. It wouldn't be like you and your boyfriend, your relationship. It would be
Exactly.
different.
But anyways, we talked about, hey, if that happened, let's end things and then still remain friends, and maybe in a few years, if things improve, then maybe talk about getting back together, which is something you can do if you're open about your feelings, open about it not working out, and ending on a positive note. But if you or your partner seems to like only be prolonging even though you're not happy, it's going to maybe it won't end like with cheating or anything. I'm not saying that's a guarantee, but it's going to end badly eventually.
What would you say? What would you say are some like? Because I think we're specifically talking about long distance relationships here.
Yes.
And obviously, your goal for your relationship is, well, it's not obviously, but your goal for your relationship is to be together in person at some point.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we want to spend the rest of our life together. We've even talked about adopting kids or something. So we have a very long commitment plan.
And I think that's most people that start long distance relationships. I think their goal is to be together in person.
Yeah, which I think is different from short distance, because short distance, not saying everyone, but I'm just like speaking of experience of what I've seen. It's like short distance people. They'll meet people they know, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this guy's kind of cool, or this chick's kind of cool." So like, let's see what happens. But like, they'll go like a year or two into the relationship without discussing like, "Hey, do you want kids or anything?" And I think that's very a different dynamic than what a long distance relationship is.
True.
Because you have to invest time, way more time for a long distance relationship. So, I feel like you kind of get your life goals out of the way sooner and like explain, because you don't want to invest like 6 months just to find out what. No, I never want to get married, or no, I never want to have kids. Like that wouldn't work out.
Yeah, I think because you're maybe not going on dates and whatnot with this person, you're not seeing them in person. I think actually people that are in long distance relationships, now this is just a hypothesis, but I think people that are in long distance relationships might actually find out more information or talk more with their partner than people that are in a real life in person relationship.
I actually agree with that. I think you talk a lot more about your future, and by extension, you find out a lot more about what they want in the future just quicker. Because, I mean, that's basically like what you have to do in a long distance relationship.
But it's also easier to lie.
Exactly, and that's why
much easier.
That's why you need to, even before you get in a relationship, set boundaries. And again, they have to be reasonable boundaries. Your long distance partner isn't like superhuman. They're not going to know what you're thinking. So you have to talk about these things. But if you find out they're breaking your boundaries, even by accident, and it's a cycle, end it. It doesn't have to be ended in like, hey, I fucking hate you now because you didn't respect my boundaries. But you do have to end it like, hey, I just don't think this is going to work out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are some
tips?
No, I would say like, what for you personally, what would be some put yourself out of I guess your current relationship. But say you are like, you met someone on, I don't know, whatever. I met my ex on Twitter. I wasn't necessarily looking to meet somebody, but I met my ex on Twitter. Say you met someone, I don't know. And it's just like right now, it's just kind of a long distance relationship, and you're just talking over an app or the phone or whatever for starting out. What are some like red flags for you, where it's just like okay, it's not working out?
One, I would be difficulty talking about stuff like now if it's a private, like, oh hey, that's a childhood memory that I don't like speaking about, that's one thing. But like talking about things that bug them, or like hesitation to bring up things you're doing, or you talk about something that they're doing that bugs you in a neutral, like, hey, I just don't really appreciate this, and they react very negatively to it, instead of just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll stop doing that. I respect you. I respect, like, that's not something you want me to do. Those are the biggest red flags you can get, because words, everyone, especially in a long distance relationship, when you're typing, has plenty of time to think of what they're saying. They're going to say the best thing. Their actions of when they snap at you or clearly aren't telling you like that everything that's important to the relationship, those speak louder than any words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say, I mean, there's a lot of red flags for sure, and a lot of them are individual or, thankfully people are different, so not everybody has the same kind of issues, but everyone's got issues. Everybody has issues for sure.
Yes.
For me, honestly, I'm really starting to discover it. Honesty is the best policy. It really is.
Yes.
And
Especially for
Yeah.
any relationship.
Any
but
relationship.
especially for long distance. If you notice the pattern, maybe not dishonesty because that's a bigger issue, but even like hesitation to be honest.
yeah, because for one, I just feel better when I'm being honest. Because if there is something, say I'm talking to somebody, I'm just talking to somebody, we've only been talking for a couple weeks now, and I know that they don't like a specific thing. Say they don't like that they don't like marijuana, like people that smoke marijuana or people that drink alcohol.
Yes.
They just don't like it themselves.
Mhm.
I would rather be honest and say, like, yeah, I indulge in weed every now and then, or I indulge in
Yes.
alcohol every now and then. I would rather be honest about it from as early as I can be than to just
Yes.
kind of hide it, because I know that it would be, honestly, for me, the kind of person I am, I know that it would be kind of eating away at me in my head, knowing that there's something that they don't know about me that I know that they probably would not like.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
And also, I think people appreciate honesty. I think people really appreciate honesty. So I think if you're at like a early stage in a relationship and you just kind of make it really known, like, hey, I value honesty. I try to be as honest as possible because I appreciate it when people are honest to me. So, it's the golden rule, treat others with the way that you would like to be treated. And I think people respect that. At least
Yes.
respectable people, in my opinion, respect that.
The people that you should respect and listen to are the ones that are going to respect that. And also, just to circle back to honesty, like, okay, so I will reveal something that's a bit autistic in our relationship, but it's something we developed early on, and this is actually something I struggled with because I basically wanted to spare feelings, and that was wrong of me. Like, this is something you need to, like. Luckily, Kepo called me out, and I started being a bit more honest. But okay, so we have this system: 1 being bad, 10 being good, and like, we have 8 as like average happiness for some reason. But anyways,
Eight?
Yeah.
That's pretty high up there, and that's average.
That's our average. Like, hey, everything's doing good. 8 or but anyways,
Okay. So 1 through 7, shit.
No, like it's like average happiness. Like, oh, I'm in a pretty good mood today. But anyways, so early on, I would say I was 8 if I was like a little bit sad that day, even for like a stupid reason, like I'm just not feeling good because of a headache. And like that affected my mood. I would kind of, say I'm higher than I am, and he would notice that because, you can notice when someone's not feeling it that day, especially when you're talking like 12 hours a day. That's something I struggled with, and even with the intention of like just not worrying him, that was wrong to withhold. That is something you need to be honest about. You need to say, yeah, I'm just not feeling that great today. So I'm probably not really in the mood to talk as much today or whatever. Which, I mean, you probably don't have to do that because, like, you probably aren't talking as much as we did, like 12 hours a day. But you know what I mean. You know the context of which I'm saying this. Even small things that you, like white lies you're saying for the benefit of your partner, do not work out good in long distance.
Yeah.
They don't.
No, because those white lies can turn more, the more you do it, they can turn into bigger lies. And if your partner finds out about them, then it can turn into just a
feelings. You can hurt them.
a trail of lies that they could be discovering.
Well, not only that, but like, for example, think about it this way. Let's say for like a week or whatever, you're not feeling great. Just a hypothetical situation. And you keep on saying you're feeling great, so you keep on spending more and more time. That's draining on you, too. But then, then they ask for something that's like really like, okay, I don't know, something that's actually like labor intensive or whatever. Like, hey, let's do like a video call, like where you're cooking and stuff. And, you have so many things to pay attention to. That's going to be, also sorry, my phone went off. I hope you didn't hear that. But anyways, that's going to, like, again, cause things to build up. Like, oh, he always expects so much of me. No, they don't. You're just not being honest. But in your mind, you're going to feel that resentment, even to a small scale. That's why you not only have to, like, be honest yourself, but you need to call out their white lies too, because the brain's stupid, and even if logically they know, oh yeah, this is kind of my fault, the brain will convince you that it's not your fault and they should have seen the signs or whatever. It will.
I think that's so cute that you guys have like a scale from 1 to 10. You'll ask so what do? You just ask each other like
every day, literally, like, and sometimes multiple times a day. Like, if like I give him information like, oh yeah, I had to deal with this soul today at like the store. He will literally immediately be like, mood.
Oh my gosh, I've got some friends that will say for realsies, and that's like they'll say something, they'll tell the other person something, and the other person will be like for realsies, and that's their like 100%. I am not lying. This is the God's honest truth. They know if they break
I'm not exaggerating for the sake of storytelling.
Yeah, they like if they break a for realsies, then that is like on grounds of like breaking up, because that's their, and I think that's cute too, is that they have the same.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, here's something. I got something for you. Now, I don't know if you've ever run across this in your relationship, but I will tell you what I think is a major red flag, and also it doesn't even have to do with, it's just any relationship. And then I'll give you an example of it happening in my past relationship. So, I think a red flag is a big red flag would be when your partner is not.
Oh, you cut out again.
Oh, really? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I heard a big red flag, and then you cut out for a sec.
Okay. I would say a big red flag for any relationship is when your partner is not interested in what you have going on, or your hobbies, or vice versa. You're not interested in you're just showing non-interest. And I think that's a big red flag, because for so many reasons. I mean, that could be as little as, they're just not interested in it, and they're not
engaging.
They're not engaging. They're just not the kind of person that is aware of like, oh, hey, I probably should show that I'm interested in this to support them, to show that I'm not being a bad, or they might be someone that's on their way out mentally, like on their way out of the relationship mentally, because maybe they were a person who used to be engaged and would know.
Like, how you're doing. Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like, for example, so with my previous relationship, both my ex and I had hobbies that really neither of us were that into. He was into beekeeping, and I wasn't really that interested in it. I thought it was interesting, but it never piqued my interest that much. And I'm into motorcycles, and that never really piqued his interest that much. So I feel like we both kind of danced around, like, okay, trying to give each other, like, trying to show a little bit that we were interested in those topics, just to kind of, I guess.
Yeah, because support the partner, even though you didn't care. I do think, another, maybe it's just because, like, my, this isn't something that really comes up in my relationship. We're both nerds. We both love anime. Honestly, his favorite part about anime is when I watch a bad anime and rant about it. Like, he literally just loves hearing me shit talk it. And but like, anyway, so we have matching hobbies.
But do you have nothing? Like, is there anything in your guys' life, any hobby, that you aren't as interested in as he is, or vice versa?
I mean, he's an artist, and I can't draw for shit, but like, I'm still really interested in it. So, no, literally not. Literally not. We're basically the same person. But I will say, I do think you guys should have at least one activity that you're both very passionate about. But I don't think it's necessarily a terrible thing if your partner likes things you don't.
I don't either. I think it's a good, I think it's, for me personally, I think it's good to have, something that is just kind of your thing, where it's like, all right, I'm not always going to have someone.
Yes, but there should be something.
For sure.
Because then in your relationship, it was different interests, which I think can work as long as they're honest about it. But it is more strain.
I had like, we had similar interests for other things too. Anime, some games, stuff like that. Oh yeah, and this wasn't like a huge red flag for me. I think it was kind of a red flag in the sense of, there were many instances where we just kind of weren't showing interest with the other person's hobby.
Yeah.
And we kind of and we noticed that. But I'm just saying, like, it can be a red flag.
Yeah. That I would agree with. If there's like a noticeable disinterest, now you can talk to your partner and be like, hey, I still want to talk to you about this occasionally, but yeah, I can not talk about it as much. We can talk about other things, but I still want to talk about this. And if they're accepting of that's good. But it definitely could be the sign that, hey, especially early on, with like, you should be the most interested, the most engaged, because young puppy dog love. Especially early on, it could be like, just pay attention and be honest about things.
Oh yeah.
All
right.
Anyways, I think we've gone for like an hour.
Almost.
So?
It's recording 1 hour 8 minutes.
Oh my goodness. So do you want to keep going, or?
We should end it. We'll end it pretty soon, I think, just because that's
I think
a pretty good one. That's a pretty good. I don't know if anyone's gonna actually like listening to it, but a pretty good length one right there. I think we should keep them around like an hour or less.
Yeah, I agree. We should also we'll discuss this after the recording, but so let's record our outro. But we should have a timestamp of the topics we covered. So one timestamp for the food stuff, and then one timestamp for the relationship. But anyways, outro.
Yeah, we'll do that. I got to get better with iMovie and whatnot. I mean, timestamps are easy to just like put in the comments or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just put it in the comments so people can listen to it.
Because our food stuff is so interesting. That was such an interesting topic.
I do think the relationship one people will appreciate. Especially like most of our audience is coming from Twitter, and I know a lot of people like are interested in people on Twitter. That's actually how a lot of people find relationships now. So
Oh my gosh, we should go in. We should get another person on sometime and like interview them about and find out some like relationship horror story or something like that. Because I mean, I've got a relationship horror story for sure, but I don't necessarily want to.
air it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to just like.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm in the trying to forget about it phase. So, but
Yes,
but
yes.
yeah, maybe we could have some listen. If you're listening to this and you wanna talk about you think you might have some insightful stuff to talk about, come
Yeah,
talk
come
to us.
on
Let us
down to
know.
the Pound Lounge, and we will definitely, absolutely love to talk to you.
Yeah, come on down to the Pound Lounge. All right, all right, all right. Let's get out of here.
Okay, okay. This has been your host, Bad Luck, and he is.
Your host Dan.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.